Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today I'm going to be starting a new vlog where I'm going to be reading 4 of my 5-star predictions for 2023. I had made a prediction video at the beginning of this year just talking about the dozen or so books that I think I will probably, hopefully give 5 stars in this reading year. So I just took a few selections from that video. Actually, they weren't completely random. I asked my patrons which ones they wanted to see me read, and they let me know the 4 books that they were most interested in seeing me read. So those are the ones that I'm going to be featuring in this vlog. I'm going to be reading Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose, Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado, Privacy by Nina Sadowski, and Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. And I actually have already started Allegedly. Let me go find my book. I know it's around here somewhere. I randomly, out of nowhere this past weekend, got multiple DMs of people telling me about Allegedly. And I was like, you know what? It's on the TBR. We might as well just go ahead and get started on it. So I started this one over the weekend and I got about a third-ish of the way through. Yeah, like 130 pages. So that's like about a third. I am loving it so far. It has that typical Tiffany D. Jackson writing style where we're very focused on our female main character, all her emotions in her head, and we don't know if we can really trust her. I think Tiffany D. Jackson does unreliable narrators so well, but we have so much sympathy for them, like we want to believe the best about them. It's a very signature thing that I have noticed across every single one of her books, and I love it. Love the way she develops female main characters. So our main character in this book is a girl named Mary, and she was convicted of the death of a baby. She was convicted on a manslaughter charge because people believe that she killed this baby. Allegedly though, because I don't think she did it, and we are following her as she is transitioning out of jail and into a group home. She's 15 years old. She was accused of killing the baby when she was only 9. So she's lived 6 years of her life in the system. And now she's transitioning. She's in this like scary group home scenario. And she's also pregnant by a man who is of legal age. He's not like another teen. So there's just a lot going on here. It is very heavy. I will say, I feel really sad for this main character. It's a bleak story right off the bat, but it's really well written, as Tiffany Jackson always does. The characters in her books always shine. And so yeah, I'm loving it. I can't wait to get further into it and read all of these books. Let's manifest for 5-star reviews. But before we go any further into the vlog, I do want to let you know about Magic Mind. So here I am making my daily Magic Mind supplement. Basically, Magic Mind is a health shot and it has nootropics inside. This is why it works to boost your memory, boost your focus, all that good stuff that it says on the card here. There is something inside called Bacopa Moniri, and it boosts your working memory. And then phosphatidylamine. I'm so bad at pronouncing, but it will be on the screen. Helps with your attention span. So this is backed by science, and they naturally adapt to what your body needs when you are under stress. It is the perfect little productivity shot that just helps you focus and stops procrastination in its tracks. So most people actually think that coffee helps with procrastination, but it actually raises your cortisol levels, which causes anxiety and stress, which can actually bring a higher urge to procrastinate. And the adaptogens and nootropics in Magic Mind reduce your stress levels. So your productivity does not take a hit. And of course, the best thing about Magic Mind is that they have a 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like it,
they will provide for you a 100% refund, no questions asked.
So I had my Magic Mind this morning and now it's the end of the day and I had such a productive day. I love that Magic Mind is so versatile. You can take it alongside your daily caffeine or just take it as a wellness shot. As you saw in the clip, I mix mine with milk and a little bit of creamer. I would also like to use like flavored milk, the lavender one. So good with it. But I've also had it in a matcha latte and a regular latte and it's amazing. I definitely felt that elevated sense of energy and focus. And I felt super, super prepared to tackle my to-do list all day long. I absolutely love Magic Mind and I love working with them. So I'm so happy to tell you guys that I have a 20% off code for you. You can get 20% off of your first order of Magic Mind Wellness Shots with the code HaileyHug20. That's me. So my link will be right down below with the code as well. Definitely go check them out. And thank you so much to Magic Mind for sponsoring this video. You will definitely see me making my Magic Mind throughout the rest of the days of this vlog. Hello vlog, it is only 5:30. It looks like it's the middle of the night, but I guess it's gonna rain. We having some spooky weather outside, so it is super dark. I got a chance to dive back into Allegedly. I got to the halfway point, and this girl, Miss Mary, her life literally sucks. I cannot imagine a life like this. Like, it's just trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. I'm like, girl, when are you gonna catch a break? It is so sad. But this other girl in the group home is like telling her about this thing called it's basically like the fictional version of the Innocence Project. And hopefully they're gonna get involved and we're gonna figure out what actually happened and she can get exonerated and get out of this group home so she can actually keep her baby, because that is the whole like main conflict right now, is she's trying to find a way to keep her baby. Also, so creepy that she's like in this relationship with this guy who's 18 when she's literally a child. Like, I can't. And then we figured out that his previous conviction, because he's also like a little juvie kid in a group home, his previous conviction was for assaulting an underage girl. And she's like romanticizing it in her head, which obviously she's a victim, she doesn't understand, but like it is so overwhelmingly sad, so sad. I'm kind of waiting for the thriller plot to kick in, or like something that's not just like heavy sadness. I feel so much for this main character, but it's kind of a hard read, but I'm gonna keep reading. I want to see how far I can get before movie night. I have my Patreon movie night tonight for my top tier patrons. We all just like watch a movie together every month, and tonight, since it is Galentine's Day, we're gonna watch a little rom-com. We usually watch a horror movie, but tonight we're watching John Tucker Must Die. I've never seen it, so it'll be fun to watch it with the girls, and Cameron is currently out getting me some snacks for movie night, so can't wait for that. But we have like a little over an hour, so I'm gonna just jump back into Allegedly. Hello vlog, movie night was so fun and I'm back to reading Allegedly. I am a little over 3/4 of the way through and this book is getting so good. It honestly feels like true crime at this point. Once she got involved with the Innocence Project, or like the fake version of that, at the 50% mark, it literally got crazy because we found out what actually happened. And I love that the reader now knows more than like the people in the book, or the majority of the characters in the book at least, because we're so aligned with our main character. And I've heard that there are some crazy twists at the end. I have about like 70-80 pages left and I'm probably gonna binge it tonight because I need to know how this is gonna work out. It just is like roadblock after roadblock after roadblock for our main character, and I am feeling such strong emotion for her. I want to prove her innocence because allegedly she committed this murder, but I know that she did not. I know it in my soul. So I'm gonna keep reading and I will come back to you with a full review either tonight or tomorrow, depending on how tired I am. Hello vlog, it is not that much later and I have finished allegedly. Honestly, I was not expecting that ending in the slightest. That was a crazy ending. I still feel really bad for Mary. It was just like every turn something happened. Even at the end, it was like girl could not catch one singular break. I'm honestly shook right now. I feel like I got a little bit of emotional whiplash at the end. Like it was just like boom and then it stopped. I think I would have really appreciated an epilogue chapter just to like help me process a little bit. Oh, I'm so torn because this was really feeling like a 5-star book and then the ending was really abrupt. It just like dropped me in this place that I don't know how to feel about. Okay, this is a hard one to rate. I feel like if I discussed it in like a book club setting, this could be a 5-star read. Like I think the more that I think about it and talk about it, it could move up to a 5-star read. I really want it to be a 5-star read because obviously the theme of this video is like seeing if my 5-star predictions work out. But I don't think I can do it. I don't want to just say that for the video. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to give it 4.5 because that ending was just a little too abrupt. And through the first third, it was pretty repetitive. So this is not a perfect 5-star book, although it is really, really good. And I highly recommend it. It is pretty emotional and pretty dark, especially for a YA book. But I can definitely tell that this is Tiffany D. Jackson's debut because I've read her other work. I wouldn't be able to tell if I hadn't read her other work, but she's definitely improved with time, especially with the pacing of her books. So yeah, I would say definitely pick this up if anything about the plot sounds interesting to you. If you like a dark, twisted YA thriller, you're gonna love this, but I can't go all the way to a 5-star because I know what she's capable of and this pacing just wasn't all the way there. So next, I'm going to pick up Privacy by Nina Sadowski. And this is a thriller about a therapist. And she gets a call from one of her clients in an emergency, in a crisis, and they're asking for her help. And she knows that it's like not in the bounds of her job to help them in this moment, but she just says, you know what, I'd rather break my ethical code and save my client. So she goes to intervene, saves her client's life, and becomes this like famous sensation in the media for risking her life for her client. And then all of her other clients start finding themselves in scary situations. So she realizes that her caseload is being targeted, which is obviously an issue in itself because how do people know who are on her caseload? Like confidentiality was somehow broken, which is literally every therapist's worst nightmare. At least it's mine. So I'm very excited to get into this and to tell y'all about like the therapist ethics representation, the mental health representation. I love giving my 2 cents on that, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this. So gonna get into it and let you know my thoughts. Good morning vlog. It is the next day and I actually got a third of the way into Privacy last night. This book is so interesting because we're not only getting the perspective of the therapist who is like obviously the center of everything, but we also have the perspective that's just called watching. Okay, it doesn't have a name at the top of each chapter, it just says watching, and it's literally a stalker. So someone has targeted this therapist and all of her clients, and I am literally Is there a ghost? What the fuck? Is there a ghost in here? Can y'all stop messing with me, please? Please. Anyway, as I was saying, this therapist and her clients are getting targeted. They're getting messed with. Why is the little focus box over here? Hopefully I am not a therapist being targeted like this girl, because there are literal stalking chapters in here. They're so creepy to read from. It is literally my nightmare. But we are following our therapist queen, as she tries to just like figure it out, like adapt to basically the shitstorm that is unfolding around her, and she doesn't even know she's being stalked at this point. So I kind of like that when the reader knows a little bit more than the characters, and we're like watching the characters cope with what we know is happening, but they're kind of like at a loss for. And we also have another perspective, which is this journalist who is trying to expose her, and he's like kind of annoying, but I kind of like him. I don't know, he's just like unlikable, and I can deal with an unlikable female character, but sometimes an unlikable male character just is not my favorite. So there's that. As far as therapy rep, okay, some things are like right on the money, and you can tell that the author Googled like something about ethics or something like that. But there's a lot of stuff specifically in the therapy sessions that are in this book that are just like, a therapist would never say that. Like, this therapist says multiple times like, oh yeah, you should do that. Well, don't you think you should do that? Well, don't you feel this way about it? And that's like leading the client. Like, that is completely the therapist putting her bias in like how she would feel about a situation. I would never tell a client like, oh, you feel this way, right? No. And this therapist is also using why questions in session. You never ask a why question in a therapy session. That is just like too big. The nervous system cannot hold space, cannot handle a why. It is too big. So it's very obvious that the person who wrote this doesn't have knowledge of how a therapy session should unfold in an ethical way, but they did their research in other areas. There even was a little thing about the somatic response to trauma, which is literally what I do in my work. So I did appreciate that, but yeah, not the best. And please don't take this as like, oh yeah, this is what therapists should do and this is what therapists are like, because that is just not accurate at all. But I am enjoying it. It's quite fast-paced and quite juicy. There's a lot of drama in here. So I am going to get more into this today. I am going to run to the gym first, and I have on my little red matching set to go to the gym because it's Valentine's Day, so I had to wear red and be on theme. So I'm going to go to the gym and then start my work day, run some errands, and then because it's Valentine's Day, me and Cameron have a date tonight. Don't know if I'll take y'all along with me because, you know, I'm trying to be in the moment with my man, but we'll see. Hello vlog, I am back from running my errands, and as I was out, I actually was listening to the audio for Privacy, which was great. Honestly, I love the narrator so much, but I got to about the 70% mark of Privacy, and this is so fast paced. I didn't even realize how short it was. It's under 300 pages. So I have less than 100 pages left. Literally almost done. Definitely gonna finish it today, which is just wild because I only just started it last night. But the thing that's standing out the most to me as I'm reading this book is it reads a lot like A.R. Torre. I think if you're a fan of her, especially something like The Good Lie, you will love this book. It's so juicy and so interesting with the like thriller plot, obviously. Hold on, why are you crooked? Sorry, you were crooked that entire time. But beyond the thriller plot, there is a romance subplot. Our investigator and our therapist have this little steamy romance going on, which is an interesting element. It definitely reminds me of some of my faves. Like I said, A.R. Torre, but also Jennifer Hillier always puts those romance subplots in there. So I'm really enjoying it. I know that that's not for everyone, but for me, it just adds that little bit of an extra something. So I'm not getting bored with the same old investigation over and over and over and over and over every chapter. There's also a lot of similarity to Jennifer Hillier now that I'm thinking about it. Like the way that the characters are developed, they're such flawed people and they feel so real. Like our investigator is this Black guy and he doesn't really understand mental health, and then our therapist is this white girl and she doesn't really understand race and how that can impact someone like the guy that she's kind of like interested in and dating. So they have these very open, real conversations about him trying to understand mental health and her trying to understand what it's like to be a Black man living in the world. And it just feels like very real. These people are like very flawed and just like putting their stuff out there. I don't know. It's just like a very cool conversations to like observe and make your own opinions about and like assess your own bias and your own limitations. And I don't know, it's just very interesting. I love the mental health content in here, even if it isn't all like super great rep or super accurate. It's fun to read about. So I have to do some sessions today. I have some meetings and some sessions into the evening, so I got to log on and see my clients now, but I will let you know if I make any more progress in the book later today. Hey vlog, I don't have a reading update for you, but I do have a question. So one of the errands I had to run earlier, I was like taking this pair of jeans to a tailor because I ordered 3 different sizes and none of them fit me right, but I wanted this specific pair of jeans. So I'm like, they're gonna fit. So I took the ones that fit me the best to a tailor and I dropped them off and they did the measurements and everything and it was fine. And then I left and then they sent me an invoice for $100. That's triple the price of the jeans. Is it worth it? Is that a normal price? Am I being scammed? Did they just like overcharge? That doesn't seem correct. Because I got a quote from another place that said it would be $30 and I was fine with that. But what? So now I'm thinking, should I just drive my little ass over there and pick up these jeans? But then I'm like, oh, I wasted their time. This is a day in the life of a girl with anxiety. I have no idea what to do. Hello vlog, I am ready to go to dinner. As you can see, I'm not just like casually sitting in my home like this. We're about to go to our Valentine's Day dinner, get sushi. We go to the same sushi place every single year, so we're super excited. We already know exactly what we're gonna get. But before we are heading out, I just wanted to update you that I'm at the 85% mark of privacy. It is very romance heavy at this point. I feel like that is taking more of a front seat for the story rather than the mystery of it all, especially for our female character. Our male character is doing a lot of the investigating and our female character is just like, oh my god, this man, like, what's happening? And I'm not really liking the damsel in distress vibes, but overall, I'm still enjoying the book. It's still interesting. There's still a lot of like action and things happening, so I don't hate it. But how are we feeling? We ready for sushi?
I'm hungry.
Yay, let's go. Good morning vlog. It is the next day. I have chihuahuas literally run around causing a ruckus because okay besties, okay, oh my god, because they just went on their walk. It is super early in the morning. Everyone has the zoomies, but I have sessions literally back to back almost all day. I have a little 3-hour break in the middle of my day, but from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. your girl is a full-time therapist. But before I left, I wanted to let you know I did finish Privacy by Nina Sadowski last night. And while me and Cameron were building my little Lego flowers that he got me in lieu of real flowers for Valentine's Day, which I thought was so cute. But I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I know, we're still waiting for our 5-star read for the 5-star prediction vlog. It's fine, it's fine. I did really enjoy this book, but it wasn't something that I'm going to be thinking about forever. It was a fine thriller. It was really fun, but it just wasn't that 5-star feeling, and I'm not gonna just push it for the vlog. So the two things that I didn't like that I think kept it from being a 5-star read was, number one, the romance of it all was a little too much. And number two, I definitely did not see the twist coming, which I appreciated. It was a huge shock, but the way that the book kind of went about revealing the twist, it wasn't my favorite. It had like a big long villain monologue, and I don't really like that. So it was a 4-star book. It was a good book. I think a lot of people will like this, but definitely not a 5-star. So a little disappointing that I am 0 for 2 on my 5-star predictions for this year. But hopefully the next book will come in clutch for me. I'm going to start Her Body and Other Parties. Hopefully I'll have some time in between sessions today to just read a little short story. There are 8 short stories in here about the intersection of horror and fantastical things and feminism and women in our bodies and how they are taken advantage of, used, etc., etc. And I'm very interested in this. I've heard a lot of good things about this book and about Carmen Maria Machado in general. So excited to start this one at some point. When I get a break and I have thoughts, I will let you know. Hello vlog, I am at my big midday break, which is much needed. I just came home and ate lunch, finished my little Lego flower bouquet, which me and Cameron were working on last night over lunch, and now I'm sitting down at my desk to do some work. But I wanted to give you an update because I read the first 3 stories in Her Body and Other Parties, and this collection, I have never read a short story collection that has hit this hard for me. All 3 stories that I've read so far are 5-star stories. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The opening story of the book was phenomenal, caught my attention immediately. It was about like being a woman and interacting with men, whether it be like partners, fathers, sons, and like the way that you're just like pushed and pushed and pushed to the edge, and they just take and take and take. And it's not even like a blame thing because they don't even realize they're doing it. Oh my God. It was just like, I could literally talk about that story for hours. It was so good. And then the second one was just like a commentary on like the inventory of sexual partners that women have throughout their lives. And then the third one was about being a mother, like completely. And I could literally talk about every single story all day long. Like, they're so good, so poignant, so well written, engaging. Like, it's beautiful writing, but it's not like flowery, okay, can this be over with writing. It's just like very poignant while still being like super exciting and engaging. Like, it'll like, I feel like certain words will like prick certain things in my brain where I'm like, oh, that. Like, it's just very impactful writing. So all 3 stories are 5 stars so far, which is looking good for my rating of this actually being an accurate 5-star prediction. We'll see. Maybe we'll get one out of this vlog. So I'm going to get some work done before my evening sessions and try to read another story or 2, and I will let you know what I think. Hello vlog, it is the next morning. I just woke up. I'm about to head to the gym, but before I do, I wanted to give you a review because last night I finished Her Body and Other Parties. I read every single story in here and every single one was a 5-star. Like, usually for me, short story collections, essay collections, anything like that, it's really hard to give it a 5-star because I don't enjoy every single one. So then obviously it's not a 5-star. I usually land somewhere between a 2.5 and a 4.5 star rating. Even if I like really love every single story, I usually have one that I don't connect with. In here, I loved every single one. The concept for every single story was very, very like well thought out. Like you can tell Miss Carmen did not just sit down and say like, oh, I'm gonna write a little story. No, she had a concept. She knew what she was trying to say before she sat down to say it. And I think that is what made each story so impactful, is you could tell that they were just really, really well thought out. The concepts were creative. There is a whole story in here that's like little descriptions of SVU episodes, and like it just like has such great commentary on violence against women. There is one in here about like gastric bypass surgery and how like women are forcing themselves to eat less to alter our bodies, when really like we should be so grateful for our bodies that fuel us, and like all of that. I don't know, it was just perfect. I feel like I'm just gushing over this book, and this isn't like really intelligent thoughts for you, but there's not much to say other than I freaking loved every single story in here, and this is going to be a 5-star. I almost never go back to read stories in short story collections, but this is one I can definitely see myself going back to read. This is one that I can see myself recommending to other people in my life that are not just like readers. This is one that I would recommend to clients who I know that can handle triggers and would feel seen by some of these stories. I mean, it's just phenomenal work at the intersection of sci-fi, horror, and feminism. If that is something you're looking for, this is going to be great for you. I'm so happy we got a 5-star out of this video, and it's a short story collection. Like, if I'm being honest, this was the one that I thought was least likely to get a 5-star, but y'all who recommended it to me, you are completely right. I loved every single story. Thank you so much for recommending this. I'm obsessed. I'm going to dive into Sweet Pea by CJ Scoose. This is another thriller, and it is quite chunky. It's almost 500 pages, so wish me luck. Y'all know I don't do well with long books, but I'm just gonna let myself take the time. I'm not gonna rush it because I really want to enjoy this one and give it a fair shot. Even though it's longer, I think it could obviously still be a 5-star because it is about a murderous woman, and you know how I love a good for her trope. So I'll just read you a little piece on the back that this is what convinced me that it was going to be a 5-star for me, okay? It says, the last person who called me Sweet Pea ended up dead. I haven't killed anyone for 3 years, and I thought that when it happened again, I'd feel bad, like an alcoholic taking a sip of whiskey, but no, nothing. I had a blissful night's sleep, didn't wake up at all, and for once, no bad dreams either. This morning, I feel balanced and almost sane for once. Rhiannon is your average girl next door, settled with her boyfriend and a little dog, but she's got a killer secret. Her childhood was haunted by a famous crime, and although her life is normal now, secretly makes a kill list. From the man at the grocery checkout who always mishandles her apples, to the driver who cuts her off on her way to work, to the people who really have it coming. Rhiannon is ready to get her revenge because the girl everyone overlooks might be able to get away with murder. Me. Obviously I would never commit a murder, but like, you know those moments when like someone does something for you and you have that moment of like, like, oh my God. I'm gonna ramble for a second, sorry. But like, when people do things that just like are needlessly rude, when a Karen is getting mad at a waiter, when somebody in Whole Foods feels like they cannot find anything on their own and they're like hounding the employees, like when you see these people in public and you're just like, that is what I feel like this is gonna be about. Like, it's gonna be so cathartic to read about this girl who like actually kills the people that annoy her. But no, obviously that's not what we do. We sit back, we take a moment, we take a breath, and we realize everyone is just trying their best and we have empathy for them. But no, sometimes we don't want to do that. So this is the book for those moments. And I'm very excited to get into it. But right now, I gotta go to the gym and then hurry my ass up and run a little bit quicker because I got work. So I will see ya when I have an update for you. Did I just work for for 8 hours and now I'm going out. Yeah, don't question me. I haven't read anything, but I'm about to get half of espresso martinis, so I'm not really mad about it. Hello vlog, it is the next morning. It's actually closer to the afternoon because I had clients this morning and it was wonderful. I love having early clients and then being done with my day at like noon. It's so nice. It's so nice to get off work at noon. And I had some time in between sessions and I also was reading this morning. So I got a good chunk into Sweet Pea as well. Oh my God, hello. I got about 100 pages, well, 95 pages into Sweet Pea. So I'm about 20% through. It's a very chunky book, but it's going pretty fast because the chapters are really short, really quick, really digestible, and I love following this character's perspective. Just like a catty, sarcastic, cynical, murderous woman. That is the POV that I always want to follow. And the first chapters, the first couple really started off with a bang. Okay, there are layers, there are subplots. We are not just following like this girl's kill list. There is that element like at the beginning of every chapter. It's so funny. She has like a little list before the chapter starts of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone who lives or works in London, hogs on trains, the woman next to me is one of these. It's so like not PC. It is so horrible, but it's funny, okay? It's so funny to me. I can't. I love reading from a despicable woman's perspective. I somehow can access empathy for these characters and I love them. So I'm really enjoying this. There's also a lot in here about our main character's past and the trauma that she went through to kind of make her into this type of a person. And that is really interesting to me as well. So this is going really, really well. I am about to leave, actually. I'm going to get a little brunch moment with one of my friends that I haven't seen in a while. We're wearing our matching Curtis Connor merch because we are both proud citizens of Curtistown. So comment down below if you are also a citizen of Curtistown. I love that man. That's my reading update. That's what I'm about to go do. When I see you again, I will be giving you another update about Sweet Pea. Hi vlog. It is actually much later. So we had just a fun little day and then I came home and hung out with Cameron. We watched a movie. It was just a fun little time. Now I am doing laundry and picking up Sweet Pea and I just got to the 50% mark. It's going really fast because the chapters are so short and funny and you just like want to keep reading. It's pretty character driven at this point, but we're really rooting for our main character, so it's working. Definitely working for me. And there's just a lot of layers here. Like there's a lot of subplots. Our girl has a lot on her list that she wants to get done. The one thing that is a little distracting from this book, and this is not normally a complaint that I would have, but it is so aggressively British. Like I'm having to pause and look things up because I don't understand like references and TV shows and like slang and stuff like that. So if you don't like a British thriller, this is definitely not going to be for you. Just be aware of that. I usually am fine with that, but this has a lot of like niche references. So just know that. But if you like a serial killer POV, our girl is unhinged and it's very fun to follow her perspective and it's just not serious at all. Like this is so unserious. Anyone who takes it seriously, yeah, you're gonna be seriously offended. But like that's the point. It's like this girl is not PC and it's fun to follow her because she's crazy. So I'm liking it. I still have quite a bit of time on my laundry, so I'm gonna just continue reading. Also I'm about to be on my period, so that's why I have pimple patches all over my face. Thanks PCOS. I had to get off birth control, so now my skincare is literally out the window. My skin is horrifying on my period now. I haven't had this kind of a reaction since I was in high school, so this is a really fun moment for me. But yeah, that's the plan. I will let you know probably around the 75% mark what I'm thinking. Hello vlog, it is the next morning and I am 75% of the way through Sweet Pea. It is getting a little repetitive. I think the book is just a little bit too long. The gag is kind of wearing off at this point. I'm getting a little like, okay, it's the same thing over and over. She's crazy, she's dragging someone, she's killing someone, she's cynical, she's dealing with her trauma. And there's also like this weird romance aspect going on. I'm just not loving the like third act because up until that point, it was really fun. I'm just starting to get burnt out on it. I think if this book was about 150 pages shorter, it would have been great, maybe even a 5-star, but I'm kind of losing that feeling right now, which is a little disappointing, but I have a little over 100 pages left, so I should be able to finish it up today and give you guys my full review. Right now though, I'm going to head out to the gym and then we have to run some errands, so hopefully I remember B-roll. I was so bad about B-roll yesterday, so sorry you didn't get to see like any of my day, but that's the plan right now. Hello vlog, we are back and I'm here for my final update on Sweet Pea. So this one actually ended up going kind of down the tubes for me. The ending was a lot of buildup to not a lot of closure. And I was expecting a really fleshed out, like meaty ending with layered twists since it was such a long book, like a lot of buildup. But unfortunately, I did not get that. I did really like the book, so like our main character and the setting and the voice and all of that, it was just too long, especially for that kind of half-assed, in my opinion, ending. So I landed on a 3.5. Okay, it's better than average. I think if you like what this book is about, kind of that like sarcastic female perspective, misandry vibes, you're going to like this, but it's not a 5-star read for me. So unfortunately, my prediction was incorrect for not only Sweet Pea, but for the other 2 books that I featured in this video, other than Her Body and Other Parties. We got a 25% accuracy rating so far, so I'm definitely gonna do another edition of reading my 5-star predictions for 2023, and we'll see if the percentage gets higher, if more work out. But I do recommend all of the books that I read in this video. Definitely no bad books, just not the 5 stars that I was hoping for. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to go down below and check out Magic Mind for a discount with my code and my link. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and read a book and go to therapy this week. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!